Imagine you go all the way to Mexico, hold an AEW Dynamite in one of the most prestigious pro wrestling venues anywhere in the world. It's your first Dynamite ever in Arena Mexico. A lifelong childhood dream come true for AEW and Tony Khan. And the first thing that you do when you get to Mexico is not pop open a cold beverage, not put your feet in the sand, not sit in the sun and just relax without a care in the world. The first thing that you do is lie in an interview with Yahoo about how successful your company is in 2025. I got the latest on Tony Khan lying to Yahoo Finance on how successful AEW has been in 2025. Seth Rollins may not be done yet, adding people to his not named faction yet. And we got the latest on who WWE could potentially be adding as the fourth man in Seth Rollins' new stable. LA Knight may finally be getting a move to Monday Night Raw. And Nick Khan hates the WWE fans on social media. All this and so much more on today's Off the Script. It is your Friday, June 20th, 2025. We'll get into this one first. We'll talk about Nick Khan. We'll save the best Khan for last. Nick Khan, he will not let the loudest online criticisms dictate WWE creative. Fans worldwide take to social media to share how they feel about WWE, to share how they feel about AEW, and how these shows should be booked. We all do it. But Nick Khan plans to stay true to his vision. During an in-depth conversation with Stephanie McMahon on What's Your Story, Nick Khan shared his attitude to shutting out the noise on social media. He says, and I quote, "It's not real life. I try to keep my head down and work. If I'm doing something wrong, someone I trust will tell me. I'm not going to let someone with 14 followers decide how I feel about my day." Now, while Khan won't let fans online dictate the booking, that doesn't mean he won't listen. During the podcast, Khan made it clear that he's open to others' opinions, but he won't be swayed by just the loudest out there. He says, and I quote, "We try to program for the universe, not the people who want to criticize you. That doesn't mean we don't care what people think, but it means we care more about everyone, not just the loudest voices." Khan's attitude to social media isn't reserved for him alone. During the podcast, he shared how Paul Levesque is someone who shared his philosophy, a philosophy that the pair have imparted on those who work under them. "We train our creative team to ignore the noise. Trust the data. Trust your instincts. Don't let Twitter or Reddit or whatever throw you off your game." Khan's instincts have led to massive success, obviously, for WWE, as the company continues to boast record profit. Now, while Khan is ready to implement some ideas fans may have, he's not going to drop all of his plans for what someone online has to say. If WWE didn't care about social media, or if anyone didn't care about social media, you would not have a presence on social media, and you would not be on social media at all. But WWE uses social media to make more money, to get their brand out there, and everybody uses it. And along with that comes the online criticisms. Along with that comes the praise for what you're doing and everything in between. Everybody on social media is a loudmouth. Everybody on social media is a mark, including you watching me right now. I'm a mark. You're a mark. Everybody's a mark. We love pro wrestling. We want it to be successful. We want it to be the very best that it could be. But I know someone's going to take what he says and completely throw it out of context. He's not saying that he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to the loudest, probably me, the loudest voices in the room. Now, I don't have 14 followers. I have quite the following, and I have quite the voice, and my voice, for better or worse, travels farther than I sometimes realize. And I've had people close to me tell me that the things that I say have an adverse effect on literally everything. I'll post something on social media and everybody will see it. First person to tell me that was Justin LaBar many, many years ago when I first got started in the content creation space. And he took notice that I was very, very overly critical at points, rightfully so, about the WWE product many, 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 many years ago. He said, every time you put something out on social media and every time you put something out on YouTube, someone somewhere is listening, whether you know it or not. And that's the case even more so now, and sometimes that escapes me. Nick Khan is going to listen to the fans. Triple H is going to listen to the fans. I won't be surprised if Nick Khan has 4 or 5 burners where he's on Reddit and he's on social media. Same thing with Triple H. There was a report not too long ago, right around the Royal Rumble, where it stated that Triple H, during the downtime on some Monday and Friday nights, he's on his burners looking at the reception to what he's doing creatively on social media. They all listen. They all look. They all have egos. But they're going to do what they want to do. They're going to do what they think is best. And when it gets bad enough and their egos are hurt and their confidence is bruised, then they'll go and change it, because the most important thing to these people are their ego and their money. And if you directly attack and they feel they are in jeopardy on both of those things, they will fix it. But it also always, most of the time, comes from social media. Starts with social media. WWE puts all of their numbers and all their presence into what they do on social media. If they don't think what they do is influenced by social media, then you're completely insane and you've lost the plot. Everybody uses social media to gauge what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. They use social media to gauge the positive. They use social media to gauge the negative. Just look at the R-Truth situation. The R-Truth situation was born on social media. R-Truth put his tweet out. R-Truth's tweet did 23 million views in total. I looked at it today. When he said he got released, 23 million views. That's not counting all of the wrestlers who tweeted within the thread, which probably accumulates closer to 40 million views on social media. And then you got fans in the building chanting, "We want truth, we want truth, we want truth." Where do you think those fans got "we want truth" from? They got "we want truth" because hashtag "we want truth" started on social media. Nobody knew R-Truth was fired from the WWE, or released, I should say, from the WWE. Did you get the sense that R-Truth was released from the WWE when his last match was against JC Mateo on Friday Night SmackDown several weeks ago, where he lost in 2 minutes? Did you think he was released after that? Nobody thought he was released after that. You know when you found out he was released? When he went to social media, and every major wrestling publication picked it up, and every major news outlet picked up what his tweet said, because of the volume of views his tweet did, and because of the volume of views the tweets from his colleagues accumulated. That in turn bruised Triple H's ego. That in turn bruised Nick Khan's ego, to a point where it was reported Triple H made the decision to let R-Truth walk, and then it was reported that Nick Khan had to go clean up the mess, and he was the one to renegotiate a meeting in the middle contract with R-Truth. All of this was done because of social media. You can even go back to Monday, where Green Bay, Wisconsin, was chanting "We want Goldberg," or chanting "Goldberg," while Gunther was in the ring. Where did they get that from? You mean to tell me Green Bay is just randomly blurting out the name Goldberg because they didn't hear it on social media? They didn't hear the rumors and innuendo on social media? Everything the company does filters through social media. Is it the end-all, be-all reason why they brought R-Truth back? No. But to say that it has zero impact is just foolish. LA Knight. He may finally be in position for a brand switch. According to WrestleVotes, there is significant backstage push within the WWE to move LA Knight from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. The report indicates a growing sentiment that a brand switch could be a positive step for LA Knight's career in WWE. The move is reportedly being advocated by more than a handful of people within the company. The belief is that having Knight on the Netflix broadcasted Raw would serve as a refreshing change for his character. WrestleVotes provided the following, and I quote, according to those within the company, more than a handful of people are advocating for LA Knight to be moved to Monday Night Raw in the near future, as his presence on Netflix could be viewed as something of a refreshing change. LA Knight has become one of the more popular stars in WWE, and it's been organically built. His connection with the audience is organic, and it hasn't died off since he made the switch from Dupree to LA Knight. You guys remember that? Maximum Male Models. Nobody wants to remember that. While he has been featured in main event programs on SmackDown, including challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship or the Undisputed Championship, United States Championship run twice, he has not really been given a fair shake creatively, and this is according to some of the fan base, who advocated for him to win Money in the Bank, which ultimately went to Seth Rollins, and now all of this discussion about let's push LA Knight, again on social media, has sparked change for LA Knight. A move to Raw could provide Knight with a new roster of opponents and fresh storylines, which you are already seeing take place across both Raw and SmackDown. Now, if you guys watch the show on a weekly basis like I do, I'm sure you do, being that you're here, you have seen LA Knight become a little bit more integrated in what Seth Rollins is doing. And he's got his thing going on with Bronson Reed. He's got his thing going on with Braun Breaker. He has been involved with that group. They cost him the King of the Ring. He cost Bronson Reed his King of the Ring. Seth Rollins stomped him, and he was a part of the field of Money in the Bank, stomped him. He didn't go after everybody in the Money in the Bank match on the go-home show for SmackDown, but LA Knight was one of his casualties. It came down to LA Knight and Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank to grab the briefcase. He is integrated in that story. A move to Monday where Rollins is going to be conducting most of his business is the right move to make. There's nothing more for him to do on Friday night. He's exhausted all options with the United States Championship. And the big kicker is, folks, and a lot of people, a lot of his fans don't realize this because they're pushing for him to win a world championship. The world championship is going from Cena to Cody. If it's not Cody, it's Randy. And if it's not Randy, it's Punk. And Punk may be moved over to Friday night for all we know. LA Knight's not factoring into a WWE Championship situation. Those names are on reserve for that title on Friday night. LA Knight is not. If you want LA Knight to win a world championship, the best case scenario is for him to move to Monday Night Raw, where his likely opponents could be a Seth Rollins or a Gunther. And it gives Monday Night another top guy for the world championship title picture. I would even put LA Knight in the Intercontinental Championship picture. A match with Dominic, a match with AJ. That mid-card is really impressive. Penta. There's much more opportunity for him to freshen him up on Monday night. I'm looking forward to it, and that is absolutely the right move. Whether or not that happens in a trade or a draft, we don't know. Supposedly the draft is supposed to be happening this fall. We'll see what happens, but LA Knight is already in motion for a move to Monday Night Raw. Moving on. Speaking of Monday Night Raw, Seth Rollins' new group, LA Knight, might have another name that he's going to have to go after because the rumor is that there are two names in discussion to join Seth Rollins' new faction. Now, we have Rollins, we have Breaker, and we have Bronson Reed, who was just added several weeks ago on Saturday night's main event. According to a new report from Bodyslam.net, two more names have been internally pitched to join Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. Now, this doesn't mean that both will join, but it says these two names are in discussion, so one of them could be joining. Both of them could end up joining, but right now the report only states that one of the two could potentially be joining. When the group first formed, reports indicated that WWE intended to keep it as a trio. That plan changed at Saturday night's main event on May 24th when Bronson Reed joined the group, and that happened after he attacked CM Punk. Now sources indicate that WWE has had recent discussions about adding even more members down the line. The two names reportedly pitched internally to creative to potentially join the group right now are Ricky Starks, or Ricky Saints, and Ethan Page. That is, to me, the direction for both of those guys. Ethan Page would probably fit better than Ricky Saints. I could see Ricky Saints in the group, being that it just fits the model of what Rollins is looking for. But if you're looking for one perfect guy to fit in that group, out of the two, it is absolutely Ethan Page. And comically, the way that I look at it, not only does he got the attitude, he's young enough, he's got that Rollins-type vibe that Rollins is looking for. He looks good in his suit while doing it. Braun Breaker stands behind him wearing a suit. Bronson Reed stands behind him wearing a suit. Paul Heyman stands behind him wearing a suit. Ethan Page looks great wearing a suit. He'd fit like a glove, standing behind all three of those men and Paul Heyman. Ricky Saints came into WWE with a lot of hype, a lot of fanfare. They started him off as a babyface. I would love to see Ricky go heel. I think Ricky operates better as a heel. No problem with him as a babyface, but I think he works better as a heel. WWE right now is very heel heavy. WWE has been given a lot of preferential treatment to the heels. Do we need another heel turn for someone like Ricky Saints? Probably not. What I would do, being that Ethan Page is right now the current North American champion on NXT television, give the title back to Ricky Saints, keep him down there at least till the Royal Rumble, and at the turn of the new year, you call him up and call Ethan Page up right now after he drops the title back to Ricky Saints. And make Ricky Saints a two-time North American champion. He doesn't even need to hold the World Championship. He's good enough, TV ready enough to be on the main roster. It's all he would need. You don't need to hold the NXT Championship to get the call-up or deemed ready for a call-up to the main roster. Ethan Page is clearly ready for the main roster, and like I said, he would fit like a glove in the Seth Rollins group alongside Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I like that move a lot. In fact, I hope it happens, and I hope it happens before SummerSlam. I think that would be fantastic. And finally, we'll switch gears to the other Kahn, Tony Khan. Tony Khan lies to Yahoo Finance on how successful AEW has been in 2025. AEW conducted Grand Slam Mexico on Wednesday night. I did not like the show. Not to say that it was a bad show, not to say that it was absolutely offensive to watch in every sense of the word. I did not physically care as an American pro wrestling viewer. I did not care about this show. I thought it was a glorified house show like the AEW sickos and our smart WWE fan base has realized that Saturday night's main event are nothing more than glorified TV house shows. They don't mean anything. This show meant nothing. You would be shocked to realize that AEW has their biggest show of the year happening in 3 weeks. Mercedes and Tony Storm. That didn't really do much of anything on Wednesday night to get me excited about their world championship match, as Mercedes went on, as you see here in the picture, Mercedes went on to win her 6th belt. We got Adam Page and Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Nothing has been forwarded or progressed to get you excited about what's happening in their championship match, which may be the biggest turning point in the company, storyline-wise, for the babyface to finally end the Death Riders and take the belt out of its briefcase, where it's been since October. And then we got Omega and Okada, which, just by looking at it and the way that we've gotten everything else built, you would look at this and think that this is the main event for All in Texas, for the unified AEW Championship. which I still don't understand, and I'm hoping for a name change after the fact. AEW has done the bare minimum to get you excited about All In, and Grand Slam Mexico did not do anything more to get you excited. Now, some of the sickos, they use the excuse, oh, it was a collaborative effort. It was a joint show. It's not supposed to be. My argument to these idiots would be, why are you holding a joint show? Why are you holding a fun collaborative show 3 weeks before your biggest show of the year? You do that when you're not building towards a pay-per-view, or maybe this would have been better served on the way to Forbidden Door. Just saying. Where you have collaborative efforts with AEW and New Japan, you would have included CMLL in that discussion this year. But what the fuck do I know, man? I operate out of my quote-unquote mother's basement, and I don't really know anything, and my opinion doesn't really matter. But Tony's opinion is that of a liar. Tony Kahn, AEW president, gave a very misleading response about the health of AEW, television ratings, and their decline. Tony says AEW cable audience is growing in spite of a 24% viewership drop. Now, AEW has struggled. The sickos don't want to hear that because everything is great. If Tony says it's great, they think it's great. They believe him. Don't know why you would believe a pro wrestling promoter when they're in the business of being carny and their number one thing on the list is to lie. They all lie. Every pro wrestling promoter is a habitual liar. You do not believe a single fucking thing out of their mouth, and Tony falls right into that category. Now, I don't know if he's living in a world of reality, if he's fucking kayfabing it. I don't really know. But AEW has seen its fair share of struggles, and AEW has been signed to Warner Brothers Discovery since the company's founding as a major pro wrestling promotion since 2019 through their flagship show, AEW Dynamite. Their success even saw a sign that a second media rights deal with the media company has secured their long-term future. But the ratings have continued to slide over the last year, plus, I would even venture into say 2 years. More thanks to a number of factors, one of them being Tony Khan, the biggest factor being Tony Khan. Those include questionable or sometimes non-existent storylines, top stars departing like CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, a Ring of Honor acquisition, and a merger and a partnership with New Japan and CMLL that even today doesn't really make much sense because none of it is benefiting New Japan and none of it is benefiting CMLL. Oversized roster, inconsistent use of roster, and a much stronger WWE product now than when Vince McMahon was there. All of these are factual statements. All of these are real problems as to why AEW is now lower than they were 3 years ago at the height of their popularity. But if you listen to Tony Khan, it's never been healthier.
It feels like 2025 is, in a lot of ways, the best year we've had. I mean, we're having a great...
Well, how big is the business? How many sales do you bring in? I mean, is it making money? Like,
we're doing fantastic. This was a huge year for us. We grew the business so much with the simulcast.
Gotcha.
We brought in new audience with Max and streaming, but also we've been able to grow our cable audience year over year. Frankly, that cable and satellite and
growth in cable. Who's doing that?
Well, honestly, us, because a lot of people thought when you start simulcasting AEW on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights, oh, okay, well, a lot of people, they're still going to watch the show, but people are going to migrate to streaming. Well, actually, our cable audience, when we started simulcasting, went up, and we have a great audience on Max streaming every week, too. So we have been able to do that, and we've really maintained and grown a great audience over the years. AEW, we say it's where the best wrestle, and I really believe that's true. I think we have the best roster of wrestlers in the world.
He was even confronted with the skepticism over growing his cable audience for AEW, and Tony Khan actually doubled down. A lot of people thought when you start simulcasting on Wednesdays and Saturdays, oh, okay, a lot of people, they're still going to watch the show, but people are going to migrate to the streaming platform. Well, actually, our cable audience, when we started simulcasting, went up, he said, as you heard. We have a great audience on Max streaming every week. So we have been able to do that, and we've really maintained a growing audience, a great audience over the years. AEW, we say it's where the best wrestle, and I really believe this to be true. Tony Khan can say the company is growing in cable viewership, but at the end of the day, Tony Khan is lying right to you and everybody's face. WrestleNomics website tracks weekly television ratings in the wrestling industry. As you can clearly see from the charts posted from their website, here I'm showing you AEW has actually seen ratings declines so far in 2025 compared to 2024. 2024 was one of the most horrendous years creatively and business-wise for AEW. 2025 has been worse. How we went from 2024 being the worst to 2025 being the worst is quite the business move. But it's true. These numbers don't lie. Dynamite was down 24% in audience in quarter one this year. The numbers show that AEW is down 44% from their peak back in 2021 for Dynamite. And that was before Punk got there. That makes it really hard to sell that your company is doing better than it ever has, especially since low attendance has caused AEW to now run auditoriums and smaller ballrooms as opposed to arenas and stadiums. AEW All In did almost 83,000 people 2 years ago. Last year, they did 50. This year, they're barely at 20. Yet the product is as strong as it's ever been. If it was as strong as it's ever been here in the United States, then people would be going crazy to get to an AEW show, especially if it's for All in Texas. Maybe you can see what Tony Khan is trying to sell by looking at this chart. I don't really know. AEW is up just slightly so far this year compared to 2024 in quarter four. But that's not how anybody should be measuring year-over-year growth, by picking and choosing where you want to say, hey, man, we're up. No, you're not up year-over-year. No, you're not up in the 18 to 49 year-over-year. There's also this great mystery about what AEW is doing and what audience they're pulling in via Max and the streaming numbers, which are never reported, yet you got fucking absolute brain-dead idiots out there like BJ Bethel who go out there and just throw these numbers around, claiming that AEW's got 500,000 people in the can every single week added to their weekly Dynamite and Collision ratings. What are you talking about, bro? I guarantee you the number is not even more than 50,000 people weekly streaming on Max. It's ridiculous. You got Meltzer out there glazing Tony Khan. You got people like these guys in the community openly defending a pathological liar. Why is that? A pathological liar who's, just by this chart and these charts I'm showing you, you know he's wrong, and yet they still defend him. I don't really understand it. If this was Triple H, everybody would be down his throat almost immediately. And they are, and they have been, and rightfully so, because the WWE product, no matter what I say about the AEW product, people seem to think that I don't go as hard on WWE. The WWE product isn't even where it's supposed to be, and their numbers are down. But their attendance is up. The amount of money they're making is up. You can't say that about AEW. If AEW had the audience that WWE was pulling every single night at this venue and this arena and this stadium, and the gates and the money that they were making via these shows were up, then Tony has every right to say that they're up, but they're not. They're not. You can't say that you're up when last year you were running much larger venues, and then this year the idea is to go smaller. You're not up. That means you're downsizing. You're downsizing because you're struggling. You're downsizing because people are losing interest in your product. People are losing interest in your product for a very specific reason, a reason that is only Tony Khan. Nobody wants to admit that. Nobody will admit that. This mystery over the max numbers, this lying by Tony Khan, AEW needs to get better. There is a better pro wrestling space when AEW is healthy. Right now, they are not healthy. They're not healthy at all. And like I've been telling you, WWE has been taking blow after blow after blow. Their creative right now has been the weakest since Paul Levesque took over. And AEW has done nothing to capitalize on what Triple H is doing. All he needed to do was write some great stories going into All In. He's failed. All he needs to do is jump on the weakness that is WWE right now and show everyone that he's got the show and the talent and the roster to make pro wrestling great again. He has not done that. He has just rested on his laurels because he's got all this money and it's his show and he's going to do what he wants. Even though fans think that he listens to them, he doesn't. Tony does what Tony does. Tony's going to do what Tony wants to do. Tony's going to push who he wants to push. Tony's going to build this show the way Tony wants to build this show. Imagine having all this money and all this talent, and Tony is not going to listen to a single fucking complaint and a single criticism and continue to bury his company and continue to ruin AEW week by week, month by month, year over year, as you guys saw. All you need is a simple Google search to figure out that this man is lying. I even have done so on social media, as you guys see in my tweet there. A simple Google search will give you the results that you're looking for to tell you that Tony Khan is a fucking liar. Imagine he's got all this power and all these great people around him, and he listens to none of them. None of them. He's paying all this money to hire all this great talent, and all he does at the end of the day is listen to what he wants and what he wants to do. So theoretically, he's paying people to silence them and not give active feedback and not address the criticisms. These people are paid to be silenced. Even though most of them know what the problem is, none of them are at liberty to say anything because they would rather take from him and rob him blind and remain silent and disloyal to the company, because at the end of the day, it may show that they are being loyal to Tony, but they're really not because the fucking company is suffering. They will do nothing to help the company, but they have no problem taking from Tony Khan, robbing the man blind of his money to sit back and collect a paycheck while the fucking company continues to go over year over year over year. They are not where they need to be. The company is floundering, and they are coming well below where they should be. How you look at these numbers and think AEW is growing, I don't know, man. Maybe Tony had a little bit too much to drink when he landed and docked his father's super yacht in fucking Mexico. Give me a break. When a pro wrestling promoter says something, the first thought in anybody's mind should be, yeah, he's not telling the truth. They're all liars. Every single fucking one of them. They do what they feel is best for them, and they say what they feel is best because they don't want to look bad, because their egos are way too valuable to be bruised. Thank you guys very much. Happy to be back. I'll be live tonight for Friday Night SmackDown right here on Off the Script. We got a lot to go over. Queen and King of the Ring semifinals take place tonight. I'm excited to see where they go. Plus, John Cena goes one-on-one with R-Truth. Tonight, SmackDown post-show live on Off the Script right here on YouTube. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. And please turn on the bell for all your notifications. And if you missed any of the content while I was away, everything you need is on the homepage. Go and check that out. I'll see you guys live tonight after Friday Night SmackDown right here on Off the Script.